Hello, figments of my imagination. I had a little bit of time, so I figured I'd record over this game. I start off by picking Chenvaala, one of my favorite heroes. I love going elementals, and he always seems to score me the win. Kind of confused why he has 8 armor. I guess his win rate's not that good right now. And I'm actually going to start off buying the Shell Collector. I think the coin will come in handy, and I don't feel like sabotaging our chances in battles by taking a 1-4 here. Still would have worked out and would have resulted in a tie in this case, but I didn't want to risk it. We're rewarded for not freezing by getting a Elemental here. We're just going to follow the standard curve, upgrade, and we're going to freeze it to grab that Elemental. Unfortunate combat. Sell this Elemental and grab the Spellcraft guy so that we have some Naga in case we want to go into that. I've done this a lot before, just using Chen's passive to get cheap upgrades and then transitioning into a completely different tribe. And another tie, good to preserve our life total because the whole game plan with Chen is just to upgrade as quick as possible. So you want to prevent as much damage early game as you can. We're offered up a literal free gold here, so we're going to go ahead and freeze it. Next turn we can upgrade and pick it up to get a 4-drop. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do here was I thought about it, and especially with how that combat went, with our high life total, we can afford to just upgrade here and take the free dealer, which is going to let us discover a 5-drop when we blow this triple next turn. So we actually win that combat. That's pretty good. Back to the tavern, and we upgrade, sell the free dealer, pick up the spawn, see what 5-drop we get. Nami, that's basically exactly what we want to go elementals. I consider taking the Critter Wrangler. I think it's really strong. Pretty much one of the main things you want for a strong Naga deck, but Nami's just too good to pass up, especially on turn 6. So combat we fully expected to lose, just a typical Naga deck. There's no way we were beating it with how our board currently stood. But that's fine, all that health we have earlier is going to come in handy here while we start cycling up through our Nami. We froze on the last turn literally just for the Elemental to go ahead and trigger the discount. I'm going to roll once before I decide whether or not to upgrade. We only have 1 minion slot that's empty, so we can afford to dig for a good one, and that'll be good enough. We get one more roll, and this Elemental is perfect, so we're going to go ahead and freeze that. It's 2 Nami triggers and 2 triggers on our hero power, so we can get straight to tier 5. Another unfortunate combat. Take a little bit more damage here, but again, we're still banking on Nami doing some work, and we need to give him time to do that. So I did a little math and decided to buy this Elemental and take a roll instead of just immediately upgrading. My hope was to find another Elemental here to see whether or not I should upgrade before blowing my hero power. And I decided to take the Smogger, use half of this Elemental, holding the other half in hopes for a possible gold, and upgrading after the Smogger is used because there's only one more upgrade left, and this will give me more rolls on 5. I'm also gambling that since I'm facing the lowest person, I have a pretty decent chance of winning, even with a mediocre lineup. And either way, I still have 29 health, so we're still fine. And turns out he actually left. We just get to beat up on a Kel'Thuzad. And the gamble pays off. We're rewarded with this Elemental. We go ahead and buy it. And I stopped to sell it because I'm contemplating just selling a different minion so I get one more Nami trigger. In the end, I decide it's not really worth it. I don't want to risk not getting a usable minion. I take the Genie off the Discover. Brag's better in a vacuum, but with Nami already going, we just want more Elemental triggers. Roll, find a second Nami. It's going to really put us into overdrive here. Hopefully we can find the third, but even if we don't, we only need about 2 more turns like this before our minions are hopefully big enough that they'll beat anything, even the best Naga deck. And combats are already starting to go good for us. We don't get the knockout here, leaving her at 1, but I'm just happy we didn't take damage. We can already see how big these elementals are getting. We're going to go ahead and take this opportunity to just buy or upgrade at 2 so we can start getting some good 6-drops hopefully. Here I decide we have enough power so we can go ahead and sell the Taunter, and we find the 3rd Amalgam, so a nice free gold here. And we're going to freeze it for next turn, get us a nice triple, and a decently sized one too. The one of the lineups of 2021 and a 16-17. And here we get our revenge. Our minions are just way too big now. Everyone's fighting over Naga. No one's going for elementals at all. We just get our pick of the litter here. Start the turn, I'm just going to pick up the Amalgam immediately. I mean, I thought about it after the fact, and I probably should have picked up the Party Elemental first. I could have gotten in a few extra pumps on my Amalgams, but I was really not too concerned with that. There's a Rag, it's definitely what we want here. And we can go ahead and pump it up a bunch with this Elemental first. And here I thought about buying the Amalgam to pump the Ragnaros in the lineup, but decided that I should just give up on getting the Wind Fury Elemental Gold at this point. The Elementals in the lineup are so much bigger than what I currently have. So I buy the Ragnaros first, sell one of the Wind Furies, and pick up the Amalgam. And now we have a very strong lineup. And it's the bane of my existence, Murloc. He doesn't all have poison yet, but he easily decimates our lineup with the poison minions he does have. Luckily we squeeze out a tie. I don't know how we're going to deal with him. We're going to have to pick up more Cyclones, ironically enough, after selling the one we had. And here we get to pick up a nice triple. A welcome gift this late into the game. I decided to go ahead and maximize triggers here. I'm going to get rid of the Cyclone Elemental anyways, and I'm sure I can hit an Elemental on 3 rolls. Here I decided to take the Mantid Queen just in case we don't hit an Elemental. She has Poisonous, so you can always just slot her in if you don't have a minion. Luckily we end up finding the Elemental anyways. And it's especially good because it's a Tavern Tempest. So it's 2 Elementals, but for now we're just going to live with it as a 40-40 for this next combat. And by that I mean we're actually just going to sell it to get it back in the lineup, get a free roll, and play the Mantid Queen. I had a feeling here that with the way Naga builds were going, she might have one massive creature, so having the poison would hopefully deal with it if our 92-90 couldn't. Turns out my fears are pretty unfounded. The 40-40 would have actually just been better. It gets taunt and just immediately dies to a Divine Shield. But that being said, the rest of his lineup can't even compare to our single party Elemental, so easily take this win and leave another person at 1. Here the Tavern Tempest returned to us, so we're going to go ahead and pick it up and roll. I decided to ditch the Queen, she's done her job. Cycle through the Junk Elemental in our hand, the Tavern Tempest, whatever the Tavern Tempest gives us, and pick up the Smogger. So I saw the Gold Amalgam, because it can't get any bigger, to pick up another Elemental. It's close to the time period where we're going to consider getting rid of these Namis, but I'm pretty sure at 29 life we can still squeeze at least a turn or 2 out of them. And there's the Gold Nami. It's hilarious because that whole time I was actually thinking about getting rid of the Nami. We're rewarded for not doing that by getting a triple. Honestly, we're probably going to immediately sell it afterwards, but it will give us a few more pumps. And there we body another one. He explodes twice for some reason. It's very weird. And then Bob explodes. Guess he wanted to get in on the action. Anyways, we're going to pick up the Nami. And what does our Nami give us? Because it's a rag, I'd take it here, but I don't think I want to get stuck with a cold rag. That's that small. So I just go ahead and sell them. And there we find the second rag that's not tiny. And I go ahead and pick up the rag first because it's going to give +5/+5 when I play the Tavern Tempest. The only downside here is now there's a chance I could get a rag off the Tavern Tempest. I'm not too concerned with that. Roll it up, and the Cyclone's exactly what we need. Remember that this guy is the Murloc guy, so we'll see if he's successfully poisoned his entire lineup. And if we survive this combat, we're going to need these Cyclones desperately. It's the only way we can actually deal with poison. And weirdly enough, he still only has 2 poisoned minions. I don't know how he managed that, but we easily take out the 2 poison minions and the rest of it's a cakewalk. And Ragnaros does a lot of damage, so knock the only competition we were afraid of out of the game here. At this stage, we are actually in the straight-up endgame. There's no other way to put it. So Nami is going away this turn, but that doesn't mean we can't abuse him while we've got him. I'm going to cycle through these anomalies to make this Cyclone as big as we can. I should have played the other Cyclone in my hand. There's no real reason why I bought him before playing it. And for some reason, I just decided to keep the Nami. There's really no reason to. I should have played the Cyclone. Holding it back was a really dumb mistake. Luckily, it's not dumb enough to cost me the match. And she's at 1, we won the combat, so she is gone. And easy as that. Everyone fights over Naga, and it doesn't work out. And we just slide in his chin. And that's it. Pretty easy strategy. Obviously things went super well there. Getting a Nami on turn 6 or whatever is insane for the elemental strategy. Other than these Battlegrounds, Diablo Immortals comes out June 2nd, so I'll probably be putting out some stuff for that. The Maydub Diary for Ashes of Creation is going to be coming out soon, I imagine. I haven't actually checked the date on that, but I'll summarize that too, so you don't have to waste an hour of your life or more watching it. And I will see you all eventually.